Stepmom demands I end my engagement until my stepsister gets married as I'm deliberately ruining her life. So here's how this whole mess started. My sister is getting married, and apparently, she just assumed that I'd be paying for her wedding venue. Not helping out here and there, not pitching in if things got tight, she wanted me to cover the whole thing. Why? Well, because a few years back, I helped my other sister with her wedding costs, and she thinks it's only fair she gets the same. But not just any venue, mind you. She's got her sights on the priciest, most picturesque spot in town, the kind of place that would drain anyone's wallet. She basically texted me out of the blue with this assumption. No warm-up, no soft approach. It was like, hey, I found the perfect place for the wedding, and since you paid for other sister's reception, I was thinking you'd cover this too. Like, it was just the natural next step for me to fork over a ton of cash. And honestly, I thought it was a joke at first, like some weird way to see if I'd laugh or agree. But she was dead serious. I'm looking at this text just baffled. Like, is she for real? It wasn't even a request. It was pretty much a demand. And to be clear, it's not like I'm rolling in dough or anything. I helped my other sister because she was in a tight spot, and we all chipped in as a family to make her day special. But there's no way I could just drop $1,000 on a venue without it seriously affecting my own finances. Plus, the way she asked, it just felt so entitled. Like, she had this, well, you owe me attitude. So I texted back something like, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to cover this. I tried to be nice about it. I didn't want to start a fight or make it sound like I didn't care. But I also wanted to make it clear that I just couldn't afford to be her personal ATM. Well, that went about as well as you'd expect. Almost immediately, I got this barrage of messages back, each one getting more and more angry. She was saying stuff like, wow. So much for being family. And I guess you only care about other sisters' happiness, not mine. There was even a line about how I'm probably jealous that she's getting married. But what really got me was when she dragged our stepmom into it. My stepmom calls me up not long after, acting like I'm some kind of villain for not supporting my sister. She goes on about how disappointed she is, saying it's my responsibility to step up because I'm the one with a steady job. Meanwhile, my sister's sitting there in the background. I could hear her, probably feeding her lines or nodding along. They're both talking like I'm made of money, like I'm some lottery winner refusing to share the prize. I tried to explain that I'd helped our other sister because she was in a tough spot, and it was never meant to set a precedent where every wedding after that would be on me. But they weren't having it. It didn't matter what I said. They'd made up their minds that I was the bad guy. At one point, my stepmom actually said, if you don't support your sister now, don't expect her to support you when you need it. Like, okay. Let's be real here. When have they ever supported me? I've been on my own financially since I could hold a job. After that, I decided to just drop it and move on with my day, hoping they'd calm down and realize how ridiculous they were being. But no. Later that night, I get a notification from a group chat that has our cousins and siblings in it. I figured it was just the usual chatter or someone sharing a funny story. But when I opened it, there's this massive message from my sister. She went on this rant about how she's devastated by how selfish I'm being and that I promised to help her just like I did for our other sister. She's twisting the story to make it sound like I'm heartless and don't care about her big day at all. Of course, this stirred the pot. Suddenly, other family members are chiming in, asking why I'm refusing to help and what's really going on. I felt like I was being dragged into some family courtroom where I had to defend myself just for saying no. Some of my cousins started messaging me privately, basically going, what's going on? Or why is sister so upset? And here I am explaining to everyone that I'm not some heartless jerk. I just can't afford to pay for her luxury wedding venue. The funniest part, a few of my cousins actually sided with me, especially the ones who've had their own weddings. They knew what it's like to budget for a wedding, and they couldn't believe the entitlement either. One cousin even messaged me, if she can't afford it, maybe she should pick a cheaper place. Just saying. But, of course, my sister ignored that advice and kept acting like I'd ruined her whole wedding. Things got worse the next day when my stepmom called me again.